Hey everyone, welcome to Ellis Mowers. I appreciate y'all watching the channel as always. We're doing work on this zero turn mower here. It's a Toro, it's got a Kohler Courage on it. Main issue that I see that it has is that it looks like it's got a valve problem or something, because what's happening is it's basically blowing on the exhaust stroke, is blowing some stuff out of the intake. So it's either a valve or a head gasket. We're going to get into it and see what we got going on. It could be a bad head, I don't know. But hopefully the job won't be too difficult. We'll see what we end up having to get ourselves into. I've never had to break open a Kohler Courage to figure out valve issues and stuff like that. Most of them have crack blocks before they even get to me. So anyways, that's what we're going to do here on this video. Remember, if you have any questions, you can reach out to me, Ellis at ellismowers.com. or at Ellis Mowers 09 on Instagram and Facebook. I also have affiliates down below, or partners down below that I have links to their websites and whatnot, and discount codes and respective in that manner. If you need any parts for like a Kohler Courage or whatever, one of the sponsors is HiPA. If you click that link below and buy something off of their website, hipastore.com, I do get a small commission from that. Anyways, let's go ahead and get started on this Toro zero turn and see if we can get this Kohler Courage to run properly again. Alright guys, as always, we're going to give this a look before we do it. I already have started working on it a little bit. The only thing I've done pretty much so far is taken this Toro cover off the side, which is basically just 3 screws, so that I can access the battery. I have charged, actually I changed out the battery because the battery was from 2012. And then what I have also, that's pretty much all I've done so far. Let me show you what we've got going on so far with this. You can probably hear it in the video, hopefully, but you'll hear almost like an exhaust pushback from the engine here. So it's literally pushing something, it's pushing stuff out the intake instead of the opposite. So like I said, we've either got a head gasket problem or we've got a valve problem. I'm hoping it's a valve problem because I don't want to take the head off of this thing, but we'll see what we end up getting ourselves into. First thing I need to do in order to get access to the valve cover on this, because it has this shield here, I have to take these bolts off, which they kind of look like 3/4, but it's just those 2 bolts. I'm going to get those 2 bolts off. We'll get access to the valve cover and see what the valves look like. And then if we need to go further than the valves, we'll break this bad boy open. Alright guys, so we've got it. I've got the engine cover off. It was literally just 4 8mm bolts on the top to get that off. I'm going to work on getting this valve cover off next. What I would ideally like to see is a bad intake valve. That would be ideal. Ooh. So there's 7 of these. Doesn't look like this valve cover was leaking that bad. Usually these things are notorious. Alright, let's see what we got. Let's see. Let's see what happens when I turn this thing over. Valve seems really tight. Somebody's been in here before too, because there's red RTV. It just seems really tight. See the clearance on that. Man, if this is just a tight intake valve, that's going to be crazy. Because it just doesn't have a lot of clearance, and it's still, hopefully it didn't pop the seat out. It's not terribly... See, that's what it needs to be. That's your exhaust valve. The intake valve, for some reason, is not coming all the way back out. And I can actually see it right here, that this valve here is... Let's see, make sure that... kind of have that top dead center, it kind of looks like. Okay, so I know that definitely. So alright guys, so let's see what we can do here. I just need a star bit and like a 10mm. There you go. Man, if this thing just needs a valve adjustment, that'd be that's crazy. Anyways, let me find a star bit and I'll adjust the valve for us. Alright guys, I use a T15 Torx and a 10mm. I've got everything adjusted and tightened down. It's a little bit of a little difficult because the valve the valve kind of comes over the nut some, but you just loosen that up, and then if you need to tighten the valve, you turn the nut to the right and then tighten the Torx back up. Or if you need to go loosen it up, you just turn it to the left and then tighten the Torx nut back up. I did a feeler gauge. We got it at about 5 thousandths on each there, and I'm just gonna see it turns over. See if it turns over. It sounds a lot better. It's not pushing stuff out the intake anymore. And we'll see if it hits on starting fluid. There we go. That's all it was, guys. Of course, we're going to smoke the garage up a little bit. Valve cover looked good, so I'm going to put the valve cover and everything back on, put this rear cover back on, and then we'll move on to the fuel system. I don't know how bad the gas might be, but I am going to see if I can get rid of the gas that's still between the tank and the carburetor. And let the smoke roll, right? My gosh. That was only for like a half a second of runtime. Whew. Anyways, let me get that taken care of and see. Yeah, we got some stuff in the tank there, so I'm going to see if I can get that drained out. And well, nothing really in the tank per se, I don't think. Maybe there is. But let's see what we can do here. Alright guys, this thing actually is about full. I think it was ran last year actually, because he got a new riding mower this year. So I'm going to see if I can just get fuel to flow through the fuel pump to get going. Everything actually looks relatively clean in the carburetor, or in the fuel filter. So let's see if I can get it to crank up here. No. Okay, so we got to figure out if we don't have any spark or if we don't have any. Oh, that would explain. Spark plug is almost out of it, so that would explain some things. Let's see if we have spark. Yeah, we have good spark. That's good. Wondering if we got water in the tank though. Let me get the plug in. I'll give it a shot one more time. Alright guys, spark plug's in all the way now. Let's see if it will fire now. I doubt it. we got something going on with fuel lines, I guess, or carburetor. Could just be a bad carb. It's one of those types. I was going to see if I could get the carb bowl taken off. May be able to. Let's see. Without having to. Darn, I gotta get my pliers, but I'll get this carb bowl off and see if we have any corrosion, water, or anything in that carburetor. Alright guys, I had some green stuff in the carburetor. I just took the bowl off to clean it, to see if that would work. And so the clip is working for the anti-backfire, so it's not that. It just had some old gas in it, I think. And I could get a wire all the way up it, so I think that's okay as well. So let me get this into the carb bowl. Starting to screw it back in at least. Let's see. There we go. And I usually take some pliers and get in here and tighten it up, and that usually does what I need it to do. Plug this back in. It's a little tight on the frame back there, but not bad. And now we'll see if we can get it to crank. Not yet. So I might have to take this whole thing off just to see what I can. See if I can get it to go. Darn, I thought I could do a quick clean on it and be okay. Anyways, I'll take the carb off and we'll give it a clean off of the mower. Alright guys, try it one more time, and I know it's a little bit of a smoky mess, but we're going to take the carb off. 210mm. We've already taken the cover off top here, so this thing is screwed into this. Let's see if I can just get it off. Kind of get it out of the way then, without taking the fuel pump off. And we can do that. That's good. There we go. Carb. Well, I need the fuel line off as well. So we'll take the fuel line off as well. There we go. A little bit of fuel's going to come out. Now we just need to take our linkages off. Everything looks like it's on there properly. Unplug our cable there. Choke. Throttle. It's going to go what way? This way. It's going to be a Z-bend. Throttle's a Z-bend as well. Spring gets us off. Let's get it on the bench and clean it. Alright guys, so really all I need is this pair of pliers now. Need one of those pliers that gets me in to break all this loose. There we go. See what we got going on this thing. Probably just a clogged main jet, honestly. A little bit of debris in there. I think I'm going to take this rubber piece off just so that we know that the anti-backfire is not causing our issues. Let's see what we've got here. Take the needle and seat out. We know gas is getting in there. We just don't know how. We just don't know if it's getting all the way up to the through the emulsion tube to the top. So this hole right here kind of looks like it's a little clogged, which may be one of our jets. No, it's not. So we're good there. Let me get some carb spray. Give me just a second. So it's just not pulling fuel up into the carburetor. And there's almost like a little jet inside of this ring here. Seems like it's pulling fuel up like that, but oh, there we go. Should be pulling plenty of fuel up in spots now. There we go. I see it being pulling up this jet now. Alright guys, so let's see if just doing that right there, and maybe I'll get that wire again to get up through that jet. Because it's like a jet that has a, kind of almost looks like it's got a hole in it somewhere that allows fuel to come out of it. That's good. Yeah, I see the fuel coming out now, so that's a good thing. Let me get all this back together now. And I will, here in just a second, put the, y'all saw me take the bowl off, and y'all saw me take the carb off. So let me go ahead and put the carburetor back on for y'all. And I'll join you to see if we can get this thing to start for us this time. If it doesn't start this time, we'll be looking into the fuel system to see if there's water in the tank or something along those lines. All right, so we know it's getting gas to the bowl, it's just not pulling it up into the intake, and it might just be straight water. I can't fully tell yet, but we shall see. Alright guys, back together. It'll take a few seconds of cranking, but we'll see what we can get if it will start up for us. The only thing I can explain as to what it's doing. Let's see if I can take off the fuel line here. Because that's definitely pulling gas up. Or pulling something up. I can't tell, guys. Yeah, it's gotta be bad gas. Because, I mean, if you see this. Maybe as a choke lever adjustment. I don't want to run it too much because it is a little low on oil. But that does help us know that it was not that. So that's good. I'm going to see if I can adjust the choke a little bit because it seems like it doesn't want to kick in when it properly. And that should be easy because I think I just have to take that Phillips right there and screw it in. So I'm going to screw that Phillips in. That way the choke engages better, and I think we'll be okay after that. Alright y'all, so this screw right here is what I moved in for the choke. Basically I got it at full throttle and got it pretty much to where it barely makes contact or has just a little bit of room, and then I pushed it forward and it closes the choke fully. That's why it wasn't starting very well. Also, that little shroud came off and broke off, but I've got this shroud on, so it's kind of like they're just redundant almost. Those things right there break off all the time though. Anyways, I'm going to get this out, get the camera set out, and I'll crank it up and bring it out, and we'll make sure everything works right. And I mean, we should be ready to go after that. I'll see if he wants me to service it and stuff like that, and if he does, then I'll take care of that for him for a little bit more. And like I said, we should be good to go. So I'm kind of excited that that was that easy of a fix, because this thing's been sitting in here a while. Alright, let me pull it out here. We'll test it out, and then hopefully we'll wrap this video up. smoking a little bit. I think I might have overfilled it just a tiny bit. Yeah, I think I overfilled it with oil just a little bit because I put an arbitrary amount in there. I'm going to suck out a little bit of that oil, get it down to the proper level, and then we'll test run it a little bit more and hopefully wrap this video up. Well guys, it didn't occur to me that I probably haven't, or this thing probably ain't been running a while, just maybe had some oil build up in the muffler. It's running great now though. Awesome. So that's super. So that's everything with this thing. I'll see if he wants me to service it and clean it up, but apart from that, this thing's ready to rock and roll. I think he does a lot of his own work, and so I might just see if he just wants the repair charge, and then charge for me to bring it back to him, obviously, or he might come pick it up. I don't know. We'll see. But anyways, this thing's been sitting in the garage for weeks. Just haven't been able to get back in the garage enough to get to it because I was thinking, oh, Kohler Courage, this thing's gonna be a disaster. But it turns out that the intake valve was the only thing that was just misadjusted and too tight, which is why it was letting exhaust gas through the intake valve and blowing it out of the carburetor. That's why it wouldn't start. So we adjusted the valves to proper clearance and back cruising, and adjusted the choke a little bit too because it wouldn't crank on the choke because of the way that the lever was. But after we did those two things, this thing was fired right up and ran great after we cleared out the smoke that had built up in the muffler. So I think he'll be happy because he's not going to buy a backup mower. He's going to pretty much pay for a repair. And I know he'll be pleased with that. And even though I miss out on quite a bit of money selling the mower, everybody's happy. I still get some money out of it, and I just treat it just like a repair. It's really not that big of a deal. Like I said, he'll be happy with it, I'm sure. Thank you all again for watching. Thanks for watching the videos. It's helps keep me motivated to make them for y'all. It helps folks reach out to me, try out their products, and helps get notoriety, so I appreciate it. Remember, if you have any questions, you can reach out to me, Ellis at ellismowers.com, or at ellismowers09 on Instagram and Facebook, and also have partners down below that you can get discounts on their products, and I get a small cut of the profits as well if you use those links. So thank you again, and I'll catch you on the next video. See you next time.